Hi guys, and welcome to the Epsilon Consulting Group. In this video, we'll be discussing, do extracurricular activities matter for Oxford and Cambridge applications? And the short answer to that question is that they matter only insofar they go to show your demonstrated interest in the subject matter. So let me elaborate on what that means. A lot of the students who are applying to Oxford and Cambridge are also applying to some of the top US universities, such as Harvard, Yale, Stanford, MIT. And there we see that extracurricular activities tend to matter a lot more. So if you're applying to those universities, you could pretty much write your entire admissions essay on one activity. And there are many universities that require your supplementary essays, describe the activity of your interest in 300 words. So it's very much there. However, that's not really the case for Oxford and Cambridge applications. And let me explain why. So the first aspect is that the US has a liberal arts education. So what that means is that you're not going in defining a major. In fact, whatever you want to study, your declared major on your application has very little bearing unless you're applying for professional degrees such as engineering. You could really apply for one thing and then completely change your mind and then study something else. And for a lot of the universities, you're not even required to declare the major after your first year. So, the first year or sometimes 2 years can be a shocking period. That is in sharp contrast to applying to UK universities, where you're applying for one course and then you'll be studying that one course for the next 3 and 4 years. And Oxford and Cambridge typically have more traditional courses, and therefore, you really need to demonstrate that you are committed to that subject. Also, at the US universities, your application is going to be reviewed by someone who is in the admissions committee, like an admissions director, and he's taking a very, holistic view of your applications. So in that aspect, if you are a competitive swimmer or you have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, those are the things that are really going to stand out. However, when you're applying to Oxford and Cambridge, your application is going to be reviewed by an admissions tutor. So I don't know if you have met one or seen across anyone, but these are people who is sort of an expert in your subject. So if you're applying for economics, the person who's going to be reading your personal statement and who's going to be interviewing you is likely going to be someone who's a professor or a fellow at your college at Oxford or Cambridge. So someone who has a PhD in economics, someone who has a postdoctorate in economics, someone who has spent their entire time researching that particular subject. And therefore, when they're looking at your statement and they're interviewing you, they are very much evaluating whether you are someone who has shown a commitment to studying economics for the next 3 years at Oxford. So what that goes to show is that Oxford and Cambridge are not really looking for sort of well-rounded individuals that elite US universities are looking for, but they want people who are very talented and very passionate about their chosen area of study. So what Oxford and Cambridge care more about, more than anything else about, is high academic achievements and your interest in your selected course. So in general, activities that are not relevant to your course are neither going to help you or hinder you in your application. So here is what Cambridge has to say about the extracurricular activities. And I'll read this to you. It's also here. Our admissions decisions are based on academic criteria, ability, and potential. And we expect to see evidence of students' wider engagement with area of academic interest, such as reading and other exploration relevant to the course for which they have applied. Extracurricular activities which are of no relevance to the course will not increase a student's chance of receiving an offer. If, however, particular extracurricular activities have enabled a student to develop transferable skills, such as organization or time management, then these can be included in their personal statement. Such activities might include significant caring responsibilities or paid engagement, which can help us fully contextualize an application, as well as a sport, physical activity, music, drama, and volunteering. So for Cambridge's perspective, being the captain of your school's swimming team is essentially irrelevant to your application to study land economy, for instance. However, you need to give them some proof that you're actually passionate about the subject you're applying to. And straight A's oftentimes is not enough to prove that you're very interested in that subject matter. So which extracurricular activities are the ones that Oxford and Cambridge do really care about? So if you're applying for medicine, any kind of clinical experience, any volunteering that you have done at hospitals, if you've shadowed a doctor, if you have done anything relevant to medicine, then that's something which an academic tutor at Oxford and Cambridge is going to look really favorable upon, because that shows your interest in the subject matter. Similarly, if you're applying for law and you have experience in volunteering with a legal aid clinic, or if you've interned at a law firm, or anything relevant to law, then that's something that the tutors are really going to care about. If you are applying to computer science and you have coding experience, or you've developed applications or anything related to that, then again, that's something you would want to put on your personal statement and discuss in your interviews. If you're applying for languages, for example, French, and you spent your summers in France, improving that, then, that's something to put on your application. Music, and if you're applying for music and you have played in a choir, then sure, that shows your interest. Now, that being said, sometimes unrelated activities can be useful indirectly if explained in a proper way. For example, if you are someone who's applying for economics and you have excellent grades at your high school or A levels or sixth form, but you're also a professional athlete. So while Oxford and Cambridge don't care that much about sports in terms of accepting you, the fact that you managed to do these two activities concurrently, simultaneously, and were also very successful at doing both, shows that you are someone who has some very good qualities like good time management, ability to work hard. And these qualities are important. And, if you have explained them in the proper way in your personal statement and in your interviews, then these are going to leave a positive impact on your application. So that's sort of where Oxford and Cambridge are at. They care about your activities only insofar as they go to show your interest in your subject matter. But just because Oxford and Cambridge don't really care about a lot of your extracurricular life does not mean that you shouldn't be doing them. These activities are a great way to learn new things, meet new people, learn a lot of leadership skills, time management skills, teamwork, etc., etc. And they teach you a lot of these valuable lessons, which are very important for your character building. And they are encouraged on every level. Just bear in mind that for Oxford and Cambridge applications, the extracurricular activities that the tutors are going to be caring about are the ones that are linked to your course, that show your interest in the course matter.